Hi, I'm Jen from PepperHarrow. Today I'm going to show y'all our full greenhouse. I won't show everything in the greenhouse, but I want to show how full it is. We'll talk about some of the seeds that we're starting and kind of what our backup plan was for making room for plants outside of a full greenhouse. What do you do?
I got an idea. We can build a new greenhouse, another greenhouse.
I mean, I would like to build another greenhouse, but it's a money thing.
Oh yeah, that.
Just
Yeah.
just the small problem, no money, but that's okay. What a lot of people won't tell you with flower farming is, and farmers in general, you just kind of have to make do with what you do have available to use. Make do with what you have. So I'll show you guys what the backup is and what that space looks like and what our plans are. It's kind of that really weird transition time from really cold weather to warm weather, and in between that, in those transition periods, there's always a little bit of overlap and an extreme amount of plants that we're always like, what do we do with it? We'll be shipping out dahlia cuttings soon, and we'll be planting a lot of these flowers into the ground relatively quickly, so that will also make some room, but we'll show you what we have.
And luckily all these cool flowers we can start to boot out.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll show you our outside setup here.
All sorts of flowers that can take any kind of cold, they're already booted outside, so I'm trying to get things out of here as quickly as possible. At this time of the year, this is our last succession before we start planting, and we usually start planting a lot around May 1st, which is roughly about 2 weeks before our last frost date. We're planting everything as quickly as possible, but we have to make room for new seedlings on a daily basis. This is just 4 trays that I'm getting ready to start some seeds in. I think I have like 20 more to go. Those will all get started today. Seeds are getting started every day, and we're like playing this like merry-go-round game of like starting seeds, getting them sprouted. Once they're sprouted, then we transition them out, and that's just kind of how it goes. They're just like looping around, working as quickly as possible. So we'll do these, we'll seed now to get them planted around on or around May 1st. We'll do another succession, starting some more seeds on around May 1st, right? And then our last succession will be around June 1st. I'm specialty growing a ton of coreopsis. These are not for cutting, this is for a special project. But almost this entire top shelf, I don't know, it's like 20 trays of flowers. It's all different various types of coreopsis. There's some lupin down at the end that I just transplanted. Actually, we started from seed and I bumped them up. They actually do not like to be transplanted. They have a nice taproot that doesn't like to be disturbed. So if you guys are growing lupin, try not to disrupt it. It really did not like that. If you start seeds, just keep them in the seed tray before you go to plant them out. It looks like I have some salvia. I have some...
No, you got a lot of zinnias going.
I have a lot of zinnias going. I have a lot of cosmos.
Celosia.
I don't have a ton of celosia. Some, not a ton. I haven't started a lot of it yet because it's a really warm weather lover, but that's something that I'll start this week because we're going to start getting our temperatures. They're going to be starting to increase, and then that's when I'll do a lot of that. But a lot of different things. Let's, now that we've shown everybody a little bit of a look on what's going on in here, oh, and I have to say, there is room on the shelves because I've taken some of my dahlia cuttings outside to harden them off to get them ready for shipping. So it looks like there's room, but there's actually no room. And the 25 or so trays of flowers that I'm getting ready to seed will end up going on these shelves. But let's go outside and show everybody what's up. Adam built me these handy dandy little racks for outside. This is where my cool flowers go. So anything that can take a little bit of cold, I've either seeded them out here or started them inside and transitioned them out. But you basically just took pallets.
Yeah, it's just pallets, and we had a lot of greenhouse bench tops left over. So I just used the rest of them just to create an outdoor space, just so we can start to boot stuff outside and just kind of keep it off the ground, elevate it a little bit. It works just fine. There's little wire hoops, and we'll just cover them up with some frost cloth if we need to protect them throughout the night. We've had nights as low as 26?
Last night was a low of 26 degrees Fahrenheit, which is very cold, and I covered them up with frost cloth.
And it protects it just fine.
Yeah, they were totally okay. But there's a lot of different things going here. There's snapdragons, there's my next round of sweet peas, which you guys all saw me seed. They're sitting out here. There's even a third succession of sweet peas behind it. All sorts of things. Asters and Baplerum is out here. You name it. I got it going. If it can take a little bit of cold, it's definitely outside. But yeah, brilliant idea, hun, on setting up these little cold frame type areas, because this has been a huge space saver for me to be able to transition from the greenhouse out.
Yeah, well, this is a great example that it doesn't have to be super expensive to have your little frost protection outside, a little outside area to start to get your plants out.
All right, so the next thing we're going to show you is where we've transitioned all these little seedlings to.
A little unrelated to seedling, this is the project that I finished. We finally got our chickens protected with a nice chicken fence and got our new baby chicks in there hopping around, having a good time. This is great because we were down to 4 chickens after we had a couple of incidents. So this is great to have this up and to protect them. We're working on getting our raised beds prepped to plant for the year. And luckily our neighbor Steve, actually Steve who built our event building, has a mountain of composted horse manure. So I'm just piling this composted horse manure on top. This horse manure is a few years old, so it's very well composted down. So I'm playing with it with my hands, but it's actually not poopy. It's what, don't say that?
It's actually okay to touch.
It's okay to touch, yeah, it's not poopy.
It's not going to give you any bacteria or germs.
It smells like earthy now. That's how you know your compost is done. It just has a nice earthy smell and not like a...
It breaks down and makes kind of a soil kind of feeling.
Yeah, but very healthy.
It basically is.
Composted soil.
Yeah.
I just topped it off with compost. And what I'll do after this is come back with our wood chips from our trees. We collect tree trimmings and mulch from our local tree service guy, and just top dress to give it some weed barrier right on top of the compost. This one's ready to go. I'm still kind of working on it, just getting scoops and piling it in and prepping as I can. It won't take very long. You just chip away at it, do a little bit every day, and pretty soon this will be ready to go.
Let's show the fritillaria. Chewy's out here with us. Hi, Chewy. There he is.
This is our fritillaria garden that we were wondering if was going to pop back up. This has actually it got wiped out pretty hardcore by the tornado. Like a lot of these beds got tipped over. We kind of had to rebuild. So it's not exactly perfect. I'll probably call it a wabi-sabi raised bed garden. But you can see how low the soil has, there's so much organic matter that it just starts to sink after a while. So it takes a lot of continual input for these raised beds because we put a lot of organic matter in here. But these fritillaria are popping up and I'm gonna wait for them to bloom. It's kind of uneven because before I got the chickens in their little new chicken fence, they love to get in here and scratch around. I'm gonna wait until these fritillaria come up and bloom, and then I'll come and top dress this with the horse compost and put more organic matter on top of it, or more of the wood chips on top of it, and it'll be ready to rock and roll. We'll probably maybe plant something in here in between the fritillaria.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't know yet
Don't know yet,
but we will
yeah,
plant something in here with the frit.
This is our cat Salem. She's probably our oldest cat, but she loves to be held like a baby like this. She'll just...
And rock her. She likes to be rocked. Oh.
But she loves to be held like a baby. She's a sweet old lady.
Yeah.
Grumpy to the other cats, but she loves people.
This is a spot where we've put all of our seedlings into our little flower cottage. It wasn't made for seedlings, but it's an excellent temporary holding station for them. Good job, hon. Good idea.
Well, we have not utilized the new flower cottage. The old one we had kind of finished inside, so it was really a nice place for us to be able to utilize it for stuff. But just for now, it kind of works as a little holding station for a lot of seedlings.
Some of the things that are in here, we have statice in here, straw flowers, zinnias. There's some nasturtiums, yarrow, delphinium, bunny tails, which is a cool ornamental grass that I'm going to do for drieds this year. And then there are some dahlia cuttings, and I have dahlia cuttings in here because we're going to do an on-farm dahlia cutting sale coming up on April 15th. And so I'm kind of prepping for that, getting them ready. They're basically like mini plants. It isn't even it's not a tuber, they're full grown and and huge. I'll have to show. They're big. They're looking really good. Actually, this is one of the smaller ones. Some of them are really, 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 really big. So yeah, this, I know this is Bloomquist Mojo just because of the way it looks, the shape of the leaves and all that jazz. So this is our temporary holding place, and what I've been doing on the cold nights, I shoved a little insulation up in the vent to make sure that no air can get in or out, just temporarily.
And this little space heater keeps it just fine in here.
Yeah, but you can see not finished in here yet, so I'm like, it's not that great in here. It's still like construction. And it's okay to have seedlings in here. So you know what? For a nice temporary solution, this is a great spot. And you use what you have access to. And this is functioned perfectly, right?
Yeah. But what do you guys think that we could do with the space? I want to hear some comments on ideas on what we could do with this. We've thought about just like an Airbnb or putting, I mean, we have our little farm shop in the event barn.
This is where our new ice cream machine's going to go, and we're going to do ice cream on the farm. Come on. Adam thinks this is dumb, but I wanted to show you guys what he worked on yesterday. This is a variegated willow.
I'm not finished pruning it, and I'm actually a little late, but gotta do what we gotta do. But I'm gonna trim a lot of these back. This thing grew fast and crazy, and it was growing into the cottage, so I had to actually get the chainsaw out to just cut some huge branches back so we can get it a little bit spaced away, but I really need to bring it down quite a bit. This thing will turn into a tree.
Yeah, it's like all willows. They just grow super quick, and they really just need to be cut back forcefully, as forceful as possible. This time of year is all about doing cleanup and maintaining things and getting things ready to go for the season. So I'm getting ready to prune roses. I've actually pruned a couple of them. I need Adam's help. He's the semi-rosarian.
And we are late with pruning roses, but it's fine. They'll survive. Better late than never.
They're not greened out yet. They're not really budded out, so I feel like it's still okay.
Yeah.
It is a little late, but not too late.
So we are starting to get our annual bed prepped. So I got these 2 rows prepped, and we're slowly working on transitioning the farm to doing less tilling. So this garden has been cover cropped and organic matter added like crazy. But we started with these 2 rows. So what I did was I laid down that amazing composted horse manure, and with our tree trimmings in the back, it takes a long time for them to break down. But once they break down, and you know they're breaking down when you pick up a piece of the tree trimming and it like breaks apart in your hand, then it's basically called soil conditioner. If you've ever seen the bags of soil conditioner, it's just straight up organic matter. So I put our horse manure down without doing any tilling, our horse manure down, our soil conditioner, organic material down, and put the fabric down, and
well, hold on now.
working our way to slowly tilling a little bit less.
I put the fabric down.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was back doing some cover cropping. We don't do fall cleanup of our beds. We leave the fabric down and the plants in place just to help keep the soil structure in place. Now we're starting to do our spring cleanup. So Jen pulled this fabric up, and there's piles of debris like right there. So that's the debris that we will get out of here. That's sometimes can harbor pests and things like that people want to clean up in fall, but we do in the spring. So that'll go into a big compost pile and mixed with our chicken manure to see Chewy.
It's okay.
To compost down, so we can hopefully have some amazing compost here in a few years.
Adam, so this is our lavender. This is our existing lavender, and it looks like it's dead, but it's not. There's some green on it, and we can see some of the green. How you can test your lavender is to take a few sticks and to bend it. If it snaps and breaks, that means it's not alive, but if you bend it and it's pliable, it means it's still alive and it's going to come back. Every year, because Iowa's so cold, our lavender completely goes dormant and we have to wait for it to wake back up. But I see signs of life. I see areas of green on here. And something people always ask us is about trimming the lavender. The grass is starting to turn green. It's starting to get warm out, and the temptation to come in here and trim this lavender is great. However, we always wait to trim our lavender until our last frost date, which is on or around May 15th. If you trim your lavender and you end up getting more cold or frost, it will not like it. So resist the temptation to trim your lavender before your last frost date. I know it's hard, but waiting, it's well worth the wait.
And it's nice to kind of see the little sprout start. So, because it dies back a little bit from the top. And I see a lot of green already starting to pop up.
I know, I'm really
But
excited.
it's nice to see kind of how far back you need to cut it, because I personally just want to trim it as little as possible.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we'll be giving it a little bit of a buzz cut here in a little bit. This is all live and happy lavender plant. So I probably won't give this much of a prune, but you can see there's a lot of it already starting to pop back up. And here's a good example of how you know the lavender is alive and happy. Got a little bit of a crispy top, but if you I just pinched it off and you just scrape, you can see it's green. Nice and live and green underneath. So it's just in its dormant state, waiting to wake up. So this is part of what I was working on today. We have greatly expanded our Dahlia growing space. So I broke a lot of new sod. So I wanted to get that broken up pretty darn early and get radish cover crop on it. The radishes, they are quick. 21 days you'll see radishes. So by the time we need to start planting, the radishes will be grown and doing their radish thing.
I can't wait. It's going to make the soil so beautiful.
But we've had to do some expanding with our dahlias because we have so many more dahlias this year.
I told Adam last year that I needed more room for dahlias and I didn't get it. And I had to super reiterate, like, I need more growing space for dahlias this year. And honestly, this may even not be enough. We have so many this year that I really need to sit down and do a quick map because I think we have more than I think I do. Does that make sense?
We got plenty of space this year.
Yeah, yes, we have a ton, but
We're good to grow.
I always grow more than I think I have. I always think I don't have enough. I always have way too many, but there's always a little space to squiggle in a little extra plant here or there. This is our U-cut tulip field, and it's behind an electric fence, which Adam's working on a video for. But you can see, maybe you can't, I don't know, it's kind of hard to see with the green. The tulips are popping up. We're gonna have a tulip U-cut in the next couple weeks here. And if you're like, hey, what are all those weeds in the walkways? That is actually pennycress, y'all. Like, it looks like a hot mess, but I'm actually like super excited that there are pennycress in the walkways because that's what I'm gonna use for early spring fillers and bouquets.
It's a vital early spring filler. It's amazing.
It looks ugly, it looks like a little bit messy, but I'm like, my filler is growing.
And that's about it, y'all. We're going to do a more in-depth farm tour here as we really start to get rolling. This is actually a pretty impromptu video.
Yeah, I made Adam cut. I was like, you have to show this greenhouse. It's crazy. And the fact that we've like put seedlings in the cottage is totally crazy too. But hey, you do what you got to do. Don't ever forget that. It doesn't have to be perfect.
We want to give a special shout out to our patrons. We appreciate your patronage. It really helps the farm out, and love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
If y'all enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. That really helps us out. So the best thing you can do, the biggest compliment, is to subscribe. We're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers.
Woo woo!
Let's think big here.
Yeah, so share us with a friend.
Yeah.
Spread the word.
Help us get to 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah. Thank you all for joining today, and happy growing.
No, it smells fresh.
Did you just smell your fingers?
Huh?
Gross.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. So it's composted. This is not poopy anymore.